We have demonstrable statistical and mathematical and computer evidence of hundreds of thousands of votes being injected into the computer systems. The Department of Justice and the FBI really need to get after it right now and investigate all the reports of fraud. There are hundreds of them.
Yeah, well, I hope Attorney General Barr is doing that.
But behind the scenes, Ingraham texted her colleagues, quote, "Sidney Powell is a bit nuts."
As we know, yesterday the extent in which Fox News and their puppets were willfully misleading the public in regards to the big lie was exposed, and there has been quite the response. I mean a response from everyone but Fox News, of course. But my favourite has to be this segment from Mehdi Hasan on MSNBC, who always seems to have a very meticulous, scalpel-like response. And in this case, what he did is he took the comments that Fox News hosts made on air in regards to the big lie and how they continued to peddle it, put them side by side with what they said in text and in messages in private, and the hypocrisy is laid bare for all to see.
Today, the sheer extent of Fox's hypocrisy is laid bare in the pages of that new legal filing in the Dominion lawsuit. And that hypocrisy is clearer than it has ever been. But to understand it, you really need to hear what the stars of the Republican Party, the stars of Fox were saying on TV versus what they were telling each other behind the scenes. Take the 8 p.m. host who is always concerned about conservatives losing their jobs for speaking their minds.
Say one wrong thing and you're done. That's called cancel culture. Up next, cancel culture has become a global epidemic. Cancel culture, it is happening everywhere. At some point it will end, and I do think that the people who stood up in the face of it will get the credit they deserve.
But as the filing makes clear, Tucker wasn't so concerned with cancel culture when the message contradicted the lies he was spewing on behalf of Donald Trump. When a Fox journalist publicly fact-checked Trump's big lie, the one that the network was pushing, quote, "Carlson told Hannity, please get her fired. Seriously, what the F? I'm actually shocked. It needs to stop immediately, like tonight." Trying to get someone fired for tweeting a fact that you don't like? Sounds like cancel culture to me. But it wasn't just Carlson who didn't practice what he preached. Here's Fox host Laura Ingraham platforming the pro-Trump coup lawyer Sidney Powell in the days after the 2020 election. And we should note everything you're going to hear her say is a lie.
We have demonstrable statistical and mathematical and computer evidence of hundreds of thousands of votes being injected into the computer systems repeatedly that simply don't pass muster. The Department of Justice and the FBI really need to get after it right now and investigate all the reports of fraud. There are hundreds of them.
Yeah, well, I hope Attorney General Barr is doing that.
But behind the scenes, Ingraham texted her colleagues, quote, "Sidney Powell is a bit nuts," later adding, quote, "Sidney is a complete nut. No one will work with her." Powell also appeared on Sean Hannity's show, again, to spread flat-out lies about the voting machines.
We've got evidence of corruption all across the country in countless districts. The machine ran an algorithm that shaved votes from Trump and awarded them to Biden. They used the machines to trash large batches of votes that should have been awarded to President Trump. And they used the machine to inject and add massive quantities of votes for Mr. Biden. The only reason we really found out how bad it was.
I thought Democrats told us that we like whistleblowers. You're saying that these people can't talk because they're going to lose their job.
Hannity later testified, quote, "That whole narrative that Sidney was pushing, I did not believe it for 1 second. But Sidney Powell wasn't the only pro-Trump lawyer who made an appearance on Hannity's show. He had Rudy Giuliani on multiple times to spread the big lie.
Here to provide even more updates on the Trump campaign's efforts to restore election integrity, the attorney for the president, Rudy Giuliani. He joins us now for an exclusive interview. Former New York City mayor, President Trump's attorney. Mr. Mayor, always good to see you. Thank you. Here with reaction is more. But the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
But when the cameras weren't rolling and Hannity's TV audience wasn't listening, he said, quote, "Rudy is acting like an insane person," and referred to both Giuliani and Sidney Powell as, quote, "effing lunatics." Keep in mind, the next time you hear some nonsense from the mouth of a Fox host, just how little respect they must have for their own audience.
Now, these findings only reaffirm what has been pretty obvious to those of us who have paid attention to what Fox News have been doing for years in this country, is they hide behind this veil that they aren't really a news network and are more so like actors who sometimes don't believe the things that they're saying, or so Tucker Carlson's lawyers said when they were defending him from a lawsuit. But do you know how despicably harmful that is in a society in which 30% of the American public have said that they get their news from people like Tucker Carlson? So to present these stories like you believe in them and they are the truth, but then behind closed doors laugh about the mockery of the conspiracies that they're giving oxygen to. Fox News know what they're doing, they know how dangerous it is, they know how much it undermines democracy, but they just don't care.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy, and look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.